to bring in now New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. She is in focus now. We're going to hit the breaking news with Congresswoman Stefanik. And do we have her? There she is.
Yes, I'm here.
Great to have you in focus. So first of all, I just want to get your reaction to all of that.
So my reaction, Harris, is number one, this is an illegitimate sham of a committee. This is about punishing Pelosi and House Democrats' political opponents, and it is not about keeping the Capitol safer. And why do we know it's so political? Because there's not a single Republican appointed person on that committee, and the only office that's off limits from this investigation is the Speaker's office. There was communication between the House Sergeant at Arms and the Speaker of the House. Those documents have not been released. We know that Speaker Pelosi makes decisions about when the fencing goes up and down at the Capitol complex, magnetometers that scan members before they go on the floor. She is responsible for heeding the advice and taking the advice from Capitol Police and the Sergeant at Arms. And I want to see those documents. The American people deserve to see those documents. It is a sham investigation when the only office that's off limits is the Speaker's office. They're only targeting Republicans for a reason.
So to kind of piggyback on what you just said and go back to what Kevin McCarthy just said, Congressman said those documents are important because we need to know what her choices were and what things were done. I'm paraphrasing him. Why is that so critical on this day?
What's so critical is because transparency is important. We want to make sure the Capitol is secure so this never happens again. Exactly. Democrats talk about transparency, but when it comes to turning over documents, the most important documents are from the Speaker of the House, communicating with the Sergeant at Arms. The American people deserve to turn those over. Earlier this morning, Harris, Republicans met with the Chief of Capitol Police and the new Sergeant at Arms. And the request for those documents hasn't even been made by the January 6th Select Committee, which shows that they're not following the facts wherever they may lead. Yes, the Sergeant at Arms said that there's been no subpoena, no request for those documents. This was in a closed-door meeting with House Republicans. The American people deserve to see access to those documents. This is Nancy Pelosi covering up the communications between the Sergeant at Arms and her office, and the American people can see right through this, which is why Leader McCarthy talked about issues that actually matter to people's everyday lives.
Let's hit that. He did touch on this as well. Republicans now demanding answers over bombshell new information on that controversial letter from the National School Board Association. Everybody knows the one I'm talking about. It compared concerned parents to domestic terrorists. Remember, they were going to sic the FBI on people and go to those school board meetings. That email chain strongly suggests that Education Secretary Miguel Cardona solicited that letter. Leader McCarthy asking for all communications between Secretary Cardona and the School Board Association. Where is this going?
Well, Secretary Cardona should resign. We knew that there was coordination between the Biden administration and the National School Boards Association. Now we know specifically that it was not just coordination, it was solicitation of the letter, which Merrick Garland said under oath was the only justification for setting up the new office within the Department of Justice to specifically target parents under the guise of so-called domestic terrorists. It is a war on parents. It is absolutely outrageous. It should outrage every family across this nation. I hear it from my district. They're outraged. Parents have a right to speak up at school boards. They have a right and a say in their kids' education. They have a right to access curriculum. And the fix was in on this, Harris. This was the Biden administration, through the senior level cabinet official, soliciting the letter that they used as a justification to target parents.
I can hear a question coming. The first time the secretary is asked in point about this, and we hope that that day comes very soon. We're asking for access. So what happens if we learn more about this tying to the White House? I mean, was it only Secretary Cardona? Is there more that you would press to know?
Absolutely. We need all documentation turned over with teachers' unions, with the National School Board Association. Remember, Harris, the National School Board Association, they walked back that letter. They apologized for that letter after the fact when it came out that there was coordination. Yes. And we need to make sure that all that communication, all of that solicitation is out there for the American public to make the assessment themselves, because we have an election this coming November, and education is one of the key issues that's on the ballot. Republicans believe in a parents' Bill of Rights when it comes to education. Meanwhile, you have a Democratic president who is targeting parents, a war on parents who want to be involved, rightfully so, in their kids' education.
All right, last one real quick, a few seconds here. Congresswoman Stefanik, McCarthy mentioned this. We get the numbers this week. Inflation has the president's popularity, approval, forgive me, so far underwater. We could see quite some time pass before the economy comes back.
Well, inflation is a tax on every American. It's devastating hardworking families in my district. And you know what, Harris? I'm 37 years old. Inflation hasn't been this bad since before I was born. So talk about a once-in-a-lifetime economic crisis. What Republicans are going to do is stop the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of spending that is